Hello everyone, I'm Xiao Gang. Okay, in these lessons, we'll directly look at the most important part, which is our conversion macro encoding. We'll skip the previous parts. This open and grab me, we generally won't use. It's not commonly used. You can create a UEC yourself. Didn't we do something similar in first person? Just grab me this AD is to get the key. Directly ADD screen debug message. We've done this too, and the slide we still need to go into detail about later. But actually, looking at this, you'll know the types of our logs and levels. And then tracking down information. We've done a lot of that too. We mainly focus on this conversion macro encoding. We can convert this TCHAR to ANSI, or convert it to UTF8, or you can use it. But actually, this is very dangerous. And then at this point, let me demonstrate these macros for you. If we don't consider, sometimes it's just convenient. It's just for temporary use. There's no problem with this. We opened the wrong place here, because this is actually not very easy to demonstrate. Because in the native Unreal Engine environment, you don't need to perform a conversion. But as soon as you interact with external systems, then a conversion is required. The actual operation might need to be demonstrated later. So let's take a look at this. We still need to demonstrate this for everyone. It's called transform, right? Okay, this is very, very important, but maybe let's try not to write in Chinese. We don't write in Chinese. Let's give it a HQM for our digital research. Okay. Let's give it a slightly. This is my good code, or give it a longer one. So now we can use this red. For example, I want to rotate this tighter. Press C, and we directly in this red. We can just do it this way. Output this subtitle string. Then how do you use this subtitle string? It is already outdated. Actually, this thing is used in many places in the engine. You can see, right. The engine itself also uses a lot of these red things. Actually, here, let's connect it like this. We can give it a char. My ANSI. Give it a char. We can do it like this. Let's check. It should be TCHAR. Note that this part should be like this. Okay, that's fine now. So at this point, actually you can use the native C++ API. Go get its length. There's no problem with this. Wait a moment, let me find the example code for this. Actually, where is this code? This is the old version of the iFlake wake-up code. And this function is a function from the iFlake SDK. Here it requires you to pass in const char, cast these things. So here we are actually using StringCast. This is a standard practice. In practice, you can also use this. Let me show you. You can directly use this const char cast. You can use it this way, no problem, and then use it like this. It seems like there's no problem, right? Now let's convert it back. We use this char. It's huge. And you don't need this pointer. Just attach it. It's demonstrated within the scope. So this place is very dangerous. Do not pass this pointer out for reference. It's very dangerous like this, meaning, and here, let's put it in, and here, let's directly assign it. FString, my string. So here, this actually completes a simple character encoding conversion. You might say, what if I have Chinese characters here? That's actually very easy to solve. Chinese characters are no problem either. Then, as for this part here, it's a UTF8. Okay, so let's write some Chinese. Life. We'll just add it at the end. Okay, and this part is just a simple demonstration. Then we call this part let's give it an 8 say. How about we put this 8 at the end as STR. This way it's easier to distinguish. Okay, we all agree to add it here. Put this here, use this. Let's try to separate them a bit. This way it looks fine, no issues. Now let's do something very interesting. Let's make it very long. Because I remember I encountered this problem a long time ago. This problem is relatively subtle. Banks done OK. We can see this should correspond. Look, pay attention to this part. It needs to match. Okay, let's copy this part a bit longer. Should be long enough. Okay, now let's set a breakpoint. Let's show everyone the execution result. Everyone should intuitively understand what I mean. Okay, let's start. Let's remove the breakpoint in the middle. Okay, we'll just let it hit the breakpoint here. We execute it, and it hits the breakpoint. Okay, no issues here. You can see we've converted it into a brand new one. You can see there are no issues with this brand new one either, because this is very good. It just converts it into native. This kind of C++. Unpipped in native C and C++. You see, there's no problem at all if we turn it back. And actually, this part only adds this link. Then you can take it and run it. So this link is actually very easy to solve. You can just use that native platforms. That is, you can get the substring to calculate the length. There's a C++ API for that, XTR and things like that. Not really used. I don't really use this anymore. Don't you remember? Just ignore it. Over here, we have Chinese characters. You can see, this is where the problem occurs. But in reality, you convert it back. You can see, this is where I made a mistake. Let's correct it. Wait a moment. Okay, we've started over here. The red part just now was written incorrectly. This place is obviously this place. It just can't recognize the path correctly. We don't need to worry about it. But actually, look, if we step back like this, reading it in reverse is correct. Actually, there's no problem here either. Then when this character is particularly long, right? We read again here in this place. You see, it has a problem. You will notice. Why is this? This and this all the same, but it just ends here. Let's go back. Right. You can see. Why does it seem like empty? Look. But mine is normal. I tell you, this is the pitfall I discovered. I fallen into this pitfall no less than 10 times. So now I'm passing this experience on to you. Many people don't know this. Many people really like using this red because they don't know. They just really like using it, especially Java, Unity, and C# programmers. They're not familiar with the conversion rules of the Unreal Engine, so they'll fall into a big pitfall here, and then they often spend days troubleshooting and still can't find the issue. So let me pass this experience on to you first. It's this place that trips you up. Okay, of course, there's another pitfall, which is if I verify this part for you as well, you see everything here is normal, but here it's not normal. Yet obviously their code is exactly the same. It's because this is too long. It got truncated. The same problem often occurs with third-party SDKs, or when the Windows path is too long. Both will cause this issue. This problem is very subtle. Very subtle. Anyway, no one has ever emphasized this issue to me so far, but every time I see someone, I always emphasize it to them. Don't put the program structure too deep. Don't use this red one. This is problematic. Okay, then let's explain it to him. How this standard practice is used. We can just hang it up here, and actually it's also written in the documentation here, but I think he also emphasizes it, because after this document was updated, he also realized there was this issue. So in this place, he specifically wrote a section like this for you. He wrote a piece of code like this for you. So let me tell you, what you should do at this point. Let's begin. There is a big problem writing it this way. We will now give you the correct way to write it. Actually, there is another problem here. There is another problem. I will still add this problem for you. For example, I have a run here. Run use. Okay, here we give a difference. Don't write it this way. I am just giving you a demonstration here. I am mainly demonstrating to you. There will be this kind of problem. Okay, then you call this method here. For example, call this method here. Okay, congratulations. This is wrong, incorrect. Because here, he is doing a lot of work simultaneously. This pointer, the life cycle is very short. Passing it like this, %, it might not cause an error. It might also cause an error, but this error is very hard to track down, so don't write it this way. Next, we will write him a correct usage like this. Write this correct usage, actually it varies by version. Because we are currently on 5.4. We are on the new version. We can write it like this. If you are on 4.27 or 5.0, would you get them or 5.2? Writing it like this would be problematic. Later, we will show you the correct way to write it. Basically, if there is a version issue, how we should handle it. This is also very simple. The correct way to write it, just write it like this. We will demonstrate to everyone. This classic mistake. This one is particularly long, right? But it doesn't matter. It may be long. We can still use it the same way. As for this one, we don't use this RQ. This RQ, it actually works like this. It serializes some things on its own. And this part doesn't include it, right? We need to include this header file, FTCHARToUF8. It seems there's a problem with the writing here. Let's find it. It should be this one. It's written incorrectly. Let me take a look. It should be, click again. It should be this one. Just use this one. Okay. That should be fine now. Actually, for the tool here, we usually use TF8. We don't use this ANSI. So using TF8 like this is completely fine. Then at this point, we usually perform an operation like this. Theory do int 8. It should probably be called data. We might do this with this data. We open it like this. Then at this point, we can do it like this. We call it get. Let me see how this is written. Get. We just convert it to a true 8 pointer. Write it like this. Anyway, writing it like this won't cause problems. You just call this part. Let me check. This data should be his. Yes, and then like this. Actually, you just convert it into. This is converted into this custom format. And at the same time, it's in UTF-8 format. You can confidently send this data out. There is absolutely no problem with this. Oh, so now let's execute it for everyone. Yes, let's see how we can bring things back later. Bringing it back should be simple. Actually, it should be done this way. It should be reversed. Actually, this method is outdated too. We'll demonstrate this latest method to him in a moment. Okay, so here we can just use it. Get beta. Here, we are just simulating it after one network transmission. If a struct is needed here, let's take a look. Let's see which word would be better to use. This should probably be converted. We can take a look. Let's just search for it directly. The engine actually has many places. I'll just use this one. See, you can see that the engine actually uses this kind of syntax in many places. Okay. Good. Yeah, we still have int sensor. I equals 1, 1. Then how do we convert this into actual implementation? Actually, it can be done like this. You see, we paste it over. After the conversion, then you can do a conversion like this here. And we set a breakpoint here. Then we demonstrate it for everyone. Let's see if we can successfully use it. Okay, then let's move on. You see, this is a very long string. Let's do a conversion like this. No problem. Then look at our data. It does have data. Then we convert it back. You will find there is absolutely no problem converting like this. Okay, actually, At this point, you are only at the second level. If you use this method to prove that you are a beginner in Unreal and you do have some experience using Unreal, but this method, it is also outdated. You see, it is also outdated. We can take a look our latest method, how it is done. If you use this method, I think everyone should give me a like. I think very few people actually know this method from what I have observed. Actually, many people still don't know it actually, and this method has been verified by me personally. You can see this method. In this place, we have designed encryption here. We haven't covered encryption yet. You can see this place. If you are using UE4 or UE 5.0, you do it like this. If you are on a higher version, you can just do it directly like this. Take this actual distance and directly cast it over. That's it. Then you can directly do this. To get this method, we'll just paste it. Of course, this basics full, we haven't covered yet. There are also pitfalls here. This pitfall will cause you to, after encryption, you find it doesn't match again, because there's no way around this. This character is just that complex, but we've already got all of this working. So you don't need to be too afraid. Don't worry. And actually, the correct approach, let's move on. A more trendy approach is actually like this. You can directly take this part, just call it StringCast and use it directly. And after the cast is done, then you actually get this data. It can actually be used like this. You don't need to write this fx anymore. You just use the StringCast directly. Then just do a memory copy here. There shouldn't be any problem here. You can then do another one. Let's call it new merger data. Actually, haven't we learned a method like this before? Set number. This number equals its length. Then we have an fmemr. Memr. Then we give it a copy. Then we pass in a source address and destination address, obviously, for this first one. If we pass it, it should be, let's take a look. Take a look at this first one. Its density is the destination, right? Then just give it. Give it. Because this WeChat is continuous. We can just do it this way. The effect is the same anyway. It's just that the writing style looks a bit cooler, more convenient to use. And as for this one, it should be, let's see, it should be it. And this length is this length. Okay. Basically doing it this way is fine. Then after that, we have this loomer. And actually, how do we convert it back? It's actually very simple. You can screencast, and here there is a we can third. I've also kind of forgotten. We can see StringCast. We can search like this. This teach. Of course, at this point we need to remove the case sensitivity. Remove forward. You'll notice that the engine is actually gradually starting to use this method as well. You see, it's here. This, hey, just a StringCast. And actually writing it this way is also fine. Yes. And actually, well, we should be able to take a look at this. This, hey, you can take a look. It's also not uint8, right? And then here it did a very simple kind of processing. Then let's take a look. Whether we can do it this way and just convert it. Okay, then here it is StringCast. And here we use it. Okay. Then we'll just leave this name as is. Then now let's set a breakpoint. We can add a couple more Chinese characters, and actually sometimes after conversion, you'll find there's something strange at the end. That means your encoding might have some issues. That is, maybe in some places your host, or after the string comes out, there might be null characters for termination. Just a simple operation like this will do. Here we can use, we should find it. We haven't covered wide characters and narrow characters. You can probably just drag and fill this in yourself. This probably won't have much impact either. Okay, now let's take a look at whether this time this new method can successfully take effect. Okay, then we'll just come in directly here. Right, just come in directly. We won't look at the earlier part. Actually, the earlier part. It's all normal here. You can see. We'll directly look at this wonderful life. There's nothing strange like ABCD later on. If you've watched our previous tutorials, you might sometimes notice that when we were working on the HTTP server, something strange. Actually, at that time, there was a slight issue with our uniform encoding, and here we made a conversion. Then we do a memory copy. You see this part is also coming in, but it can't be helped. I thought we would just equal. Then we convert it back. You see, after the conversion, it looks like this. Then here, we might also need to convert it to this TCHAR. We need to convert it one more time here. Just a moment. I'll add these methods for everyone now. Okay, everyone. I've fixed this part. And then look at this. It's normal. But actually we added a bit of, we added a 0 here. And then here. We added the number count here. Now look, mine is normal. You'll see, we can restart it. Let's run it again. You'll see it's normal, right? Now it's completely normal. But actually we commented out the place for everyone. We commented this out, right? We commented it out. Now let's take another look. Okay, this actually goes to the fourth layer because sometimes you find that even if you use the most suitable method at the most suitable time, you might have some slight details that are different, and then it becomes problematic. We have exactly reproduced this issue for everyone. Let me show you. Okay, and you can see after we execute it, you can observe this. You can see it is normal now. Right? Let's execute it again. Because sometimes it's not necessarily because it might be a bit unstable, you can see. But actually, if you replace it here, it will throw an error. It should be like this. We can change it to this. Let's execute it again. Okay, let's continue executing. After we execute it, we can see here, you will find that it turns into these strange characters. Okay, that means this part needs to match. Okay, we finally caught this issue. You will find that there is an extra horizontal line after our character. Do you see it? Do you see the horizontal line? Compare it. We see this code. You can see there is a horizontal line here. This part is clearly wrong. This horizontal line will cause your transcoding to fail. That's why your JSON will fail. Then we can let it continue passing through. Then we execute again. And this dash may not necessarily exist. It may not necessarily be absent either. We can pass it through again. Look now. We execute again. Okay, we can look here. See, there is a dash here. But sometimes we want to avoid this dash. We can do it this way. We give it a number here. We limit its length. Only then will you notice. You can see, we did have a horizontal line, right? We are starting it now. Actually, we spent the last few minutes dealing with this issue because of this encoding. Actually, this method is relatively more stable. This thing still has some strange problems. Yes. But when you write it, try to pay attention. Then we can avoid such problems from occurring. Then we'll start it directly here. You see it now? It's normal now, right? We put it over there. Then we start it again. You see, it's normal now. Then we put it over there again. Then we start it again. It's still normal now. So, regarding this part, that is to say, if you encounter this problem, don't panic. You check and troubleshoot whether there's a transcoding issue somewhere. Okay? And if you're still not sure, you can see how we wrote it in the engine. You can see that the engine sometimes, well, in this StringCast, let's scroll up. Well, what we just saw, it has this add 0 operation. Here, you can see it manually adds a 0. So if you're not sure, you can also manually add a 0 here. Give it a try here, right? Then we can type a bit more Chinese. Let's just type some random Chinese. Okay, now let's test again. See if this data can properly perform an encoding conversion. Maybe the last few minutes were a bit drawn out. But mainly it's this issue. Sometimes it's not necessarily a stable reproduction. It's quite troublesome. Yeah, okay, let's start it directly here. Then you'll see. We'll just look at this. See, there's no problem at all. Right, let's try again. Start again. Okay. See, no problem. Actually, this part is mainly to avoid the issue we encountered earlier. See, let's start it again, right? Okay, so this most core section is presented to you here, but there is something really tricky here. Okay, thank you all. Our stream is pretty much like this. There are also some APIs like wide character and narrow character. You can keep those for later and study them in depth on your own. There are also some things in Frio. What we can actually use, these are already sufficient. We use it in daily development, including as used in our project or communicate with external projects.